What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, we're here with the NPCs tier list. That's right. In the UFC, there's a lot of fighters with good personalities. You know, we love them for their personalities. They're funny, they're amusing, they're entertaining, they've got cool fighting styles, all of the above. And then there's some of them that just really don't have a lot to them. Whether that be they've got the personality of a rock, maybe their fighting style is just the most lacking entertainment thing you will ever see. Everything about these dudes is just NPC-like. They look like someone straight out of a video game, fucking non-playable character, just that Donnie that just walks around, says the same shit, does the same shit, and has the same fucking programming. So yeah, that's what we're looking at in today's video. We got a bunch of fighters here. I got 30 actually. To be honest, this is probably like the less NPCs of the NPCs, because there's some of them that are just so irrelevant that you guys wouldn't even know who they are. But I feel like most of you will know most of these fighters if you are actual hardcore fans. So yeah, let's get into it. We got 5 tiers, starting from dude is not a real person all the way down to a little bit of an NPC. So yeah, let's get started. Right off the bat, we got this dude, Yanis and O'Malley. He's fighting Peyton Talbot this weekend, and he's literally getting put in there as an NPC to get can crushed. Like, look at this dude's face. This dude is not a real person. Yanis and O'Malley, feel bad for the guy. I saw this guy fight once against William Gomez, got finished by a body kick. That's tough. But yeah, everything about this guy, just, this dude's not real. Like, tell me this guy's a functioning, like, human being that has thoughts and emotions. He's just not. Let's move on, though. Yanis and O'Malley. Dude's a little bit of an NPC, I'm going to be honest. Now, look, he's the champion of the world, so he can't go that high up, because at least he's got fighting entertainment value, and, you know, he's a flashy striker, cool fighter, right? This dude's personality is so fucking annoying. This guy is the most bland individual to listen to. It's like they got, like, the base mode of a character and then just, like, chucked some decorations on him, and that's where the pink hair and the tattoos come from. Like, it's like you got the base model, and then you just put upgrades, like tattoos, colored hair, terrible outfit, and then that's how you made your character. So he's, like, one step past NPC, in my opinion. If this dude wasn't the champion of the world, like, if this dude's fighting style was not sick, he would be the most dead individual ever. No one would care about him. Let's move on, though, to another fighter. Next up, Brendan Allen. This dude lives in the Apex. I don't know if, like, he's got a daughter, but apart from that, does this dude, like, have a family? Like, does he have, like, an outside life? Does he just live in the Apex and they bring him out to main event against some random dude? Like, Paul Craig, Andre Muniz, Chris Curtis. Like, they just chuck him out there in a random opponent in the Apex. He goes out there, looks like a bit of an NPC, to be honest. Looks like Brendan Allen as well. Aura-less name, like, no aura with that name. Yeah, he just answers questions the most bot-like way possible. Hey guys, can I have my purple shorts? You can't have your purple shorts, buddy. Hey guys, I want to fight in where the fuck I'm from. Sorry buddy, not happening. Like, he asks for the same shit every time. He's got the same programming of just shit to say. Yeah, I don't know. Brendan Allen, quite a bit of an NPC in my opinion. Let's move on, though, to another fighter. Next up on the tiers, we got Sean Brady. This dude, again, just looks like a bit of an NPC. Like, I listened to his picks shit with Python and that. I mean, like, he's got some personality, but this dude's fighting is, like, very NPC-like. Just shoot, takedown, literally, like, no chin. It seems like an NPC that, like, bro, if you challenge it to, like, a fucking, like, a bot fight or whatever, you shoot at it, it just, like, turns around at you and be like, and then it just, like, dies. It just lets you kill it. Like, that's Sean Brady if he suffers any resistance. I don't know. A little bit of an NPC in my opinion. Again, like, just the name again, Sean Brady. Just dead name. No personality, no interest, no excitement in that name. And also, again, just looks like a default model character that you just chucked some tattoos on. Fair Play's got some cool tattoos, but apart from that, dude's got nothing going for him. Let's move on, though, to another fighter. Next up, we've got Josh Emmett. This dude is the henchman. He's actually the henchman. He's the fucking gremlin that just walks around with just walks on, and then he just turns around and just occasionally swings random overhands. Like, that's what this dude does, I swear. His programming is just like, stand there, feint menacingly, be a juice head, and then just swing an overhand. Like, that's this dude's programming, I swear. Let's move on, though, to another fighter. Next up on the tier list, Grant Dawson. This dude is not a real human being. Like, Grant Dawson is not a real person. Like, that's not a real name. Look at this dude. Like, this man got chinned by Bobby Green. That's just embarrassing on its own. But, like, dude's got no personality. What the fuck was that walkout when he walked out to fight Bobby Green? Auraless music, auraless walkout. Dude was just grinning. Don't know what this guy's doing. Also, bot fighting style. Just spam takedown and hold control time. Nothing going on there. His programming's just set in. Double leg, stay on top. Just do nothing else. Double leg, stay on top. Take back if open. Like that's this dude's programming. It's actually crazy. And also, yeah, like Grant Dawson, and just look at this dude's face. He's actually like a bot. He's literally like a default settings character. Grant Dawson. Like, you can't be named Grant Dawson and be a functioning individual. Let's move on though to another fighter. Next up on the tier list, we've got Marcin Tybura. He's a fat heavyweight. So obviously he's a bit of an NPC himself. But like, again, look at this dude. He's just the henchman. He's the dude that just walks around. Weird ass haircut as well. Don't know what this guy's doing. This guy's got no interest. I swear I've never heard this man speak before, ever. Has anyone heard Marcin Tybura speak? Do you know what this man sounds like? Because I don't. Dude's a bot. I'm going to be honest. He's a fat heavyweight. Pretty much everyone outside like the top like 5 of heavyweight, apart from like Derek Lewis and like Tai Tuivasa. So they're all NPCs. They're all just blobs. And they as Lucas Tracy says, cryogenically frozen, get brought out the apex, get brought out of the tubes and just chucked in there. And they just rub their fucking tits all over each other as 250-pound men. Let's move on, though, to another fighter. Next up on the tier list, we've got Rob Font. Again, just the name Rob Font. Rob Font. What is that name? That's a fucking NPC name. That's a non-existent person's name. Like, again, anyone heard this guy talk? And it's not even like this guy's a foreigner. It sounded weird. But it's not even like this dude's like Brazilian or a French dude or some shit like that, and you just don't hear him really speak. Like, this dude speaks English, and I've just never heard this man speak. Like, this guy gets chucked in there, you know, he wins some fights. He's got a cool fighting style, fair play, but I swear this dude's a bot. Like, Rob Font. Something about that name, something about how he looks, just looks like a bit of an NPC. Let's move on, though, to someone else. Next up on the tier list, we've got Bo Nickel. For someone who is, like, considered, like, the best middleweight prospect, some of the future champion by everyone, this dude is, like, the most no personality. Like, I'm not going to say he's auraless. Like, he has some aura, but Bo Nickel, I don't know. Dude's just a bot. He answers questions in the most boring way possible. This guy's got fuck all personality. Hey, guys, by the way, guys, I know Donald Trump, guys, just letting you know. Like, when on Rogan's podcast was the most dead thing I've ever listened to in my life. I don't know. Everything about this guy, it's just boring. Like, his fighting's cool, I guess, but dude's boring as fuck. Like, he's got no personality. He's got the fucking interest of paint drying in terms of him answering questions. Yeah, it's just annoying to listen to. Let's move on, though, to someone else. Next up on the tier list, Curtis Blades. Bro is a little bit of an NPC, I'm going to be honest. Like, Blades, little bit of an NPC. No, but I don't want to make fun of the guy. You know, he's a cool fighter. But he does kind of look like just this big oaf, like some dude that just walks around. Like, I don't know. Blades. He's Curtis Blades. Like, he's who he is. Yeah, you know what I mean. He's a dude. Let's move on. Next up on the tier list, we got fucking this dude. What's his name? Tricoli? Yeah, the fucking bum that just got brought in to fight Shara. NPC. Let's move on. Ovzar Evloev. Dude's kind of an NPC, I'm being honest. Out of the Dagestani guys, this guy's got, like, the least personality. He's got the least interest. Like, this guy's idea of humor is threatening a decision win over someone. This guy's rocking that Bilal Muhammad humor. Like, Tapori's like, this guy's never finished anyone in the UFC, only goes to decisions. And Evlov's like, I'll beat you by decision too. Like, oh, hell no. Like, what is this guy doing? Movzar Evloev, just these programs, spam takedown, throw random straight punches, spam takedown. Like, I don't know, he's got... Dude's dead as hell to listen to as well. Let's move on, though, to someone else. Next up, we've got Dustin Jacoby. Again, just looks like an NPC, acts like an NPC, fights like an NPC. Never heard this guy talk ever in my life. Bot of a fighter, to be honest. Dude got finished by Reyes stuff. Yeah, he's the bot. I don't know. Dustin Jacoby. Whose favorite fight? Who has Dustin Jacoby as their favorite fighter? Like, who even likes this guy as a fighter? He just exists as a fighter that competes in martial arts within the UFC. Like, that's who this guy is. Let's move on, though, to someone else. Next up on the tier list, we got... Who's this? Pedro Munoz. Yeah, just looks like a default settings character. Fights like a default settings character. Dude's got nothing interesting going on in his personality, in his fighting style, any of it. To be honest, this order is not even like... I just put them all on a fucking tier list and just... Like, the order you make up what you want of it. Like, Munoz could arguably go higher, to be honest. I don't know. But yeah, Pedro Munoz, dude's an NPC. Let's move on, though, to another fighter. Next up on the tier list, Leon Edwards. Bruv. I'm not an NPC, bruv. I promise you I got personality, bruv. Sure, Leon. This dude, apart from a fucking head kick highlight, and saying headshot dead, pound for pound, headshot dead or whatever, and saying the belt belongs to no one or some shit like that, This dude's got nothing going on. Like, I guess he has a bit of a backstory, you know, his dad died, all that, moved over from Jamaica. So he has, like, a backstory. That's why he's not, like, a massive NPC. He's also the champion. But bro, you're a full champion in the UFC. Like, an entire champion. Like, you are the UFC champion, and your personality is non-existent. Let's move on. Next up on the tier list, we got William Knight. This dude is the henchman. Like, he's the big oaf, the big brute that just walks around, big muscular guy that does fuck all. This guy's fight against what's his name? Who was the Polish dude that he fought? Fucking Prachnio. He fought Prachnio and literally just let himself get leg kicked at range and did fucking nothing the whole time. Like, dude fought an entire 15-minute martial arts contest like an NPC. It's not even like this dude's personality. Like, everything about him, even his fight was just the most NPC-like thing. He just plodded around, wandering around, and just getting leg kicked and did nothing. Dude's the biggest fucker. Like, he's not a real person. He actually isn't. He's just his fucking default settings set like size to large, just made yourself a large person. Like, you got muscles, and that's it. Nothing else. No fighting, no personality, no interest, nothing. Dude's a bot. Let's move on. Next up on the tier list, we got Sergey Spivak. Again, just the name Sergey Spivak, very NPC-like. Dude's that typical European grappler, does fucking nothing, fat dude, got beat up by Garn. Dude's got nothing going for him. Bot. Let's move on. Next up on the tier list, Raquel Pennington. I'm chucking her in here for equality because she's a woman. I assume. Yeah, she's not even lesbian though. No, she is actually. So yeah. But Raquel Pennington, yeah, NPC of a fucking female fighter, to be honest. Like, there's a lot of female fighter NPCs, a lot of tough cookies that just show up and act like they're anything. But no, Raquel Pennington, just as in terms of, she's a champion. Like, on paper, she's technically a UFC world champion, and she's just the biggest pile of nothing ever. Let's move on to another fighter. Next up on the tier list, we got Amir Albazi, bro. This guy's ranked number 3 in the world in the men's weight class. When have you ever seen a number 3 ranked men's fighter in the world just be so irrelevant and nothing ever going on? This dude's like, you set your character's default settings to fucking Arabic or whatever, or Kurdish or some shit, or like Middle Eastern, and then you just left it at that. Like, dude's got nothing. No personality. I, again, never heard this man speak in my life. Yeah, he's just, who is Amir Albazi? Again, I think it's like a thing with like the name like AA or like when your first and last name is same letter, it just sounds like a fucking NPC name, I'm going to be honest. Amir Albazi. Bot name. Let's move on. Next up on the tier list, Jared Cannonier. He's a little bit of an NPC. This dude is bland as hell, I'm going to be honest. Like, this guy talks about crystals, but apart from that, he's got the most, like, dead voice ever. Hear this guy talk. I have heard him talk, so that's why he's not up there for, like, top NPC level, because at least I've heard him speak. But Jared Cannonier, again, like, he's got a cool fighting style, but again, dude looks like a default settings character, to be honest. Let's move on. Next up on the tier list, we've got Rodrigo Nascimento. Another fat heavyweight, another NPC, another blob. Again, never heard this guy talk, no personality. Dude got a whole main event. Like, dude, how are you a main event fighter and you're just a bot? Like, you're just a thing, you're just a individual that they just chucked in. You're a robot. You're just a fat blob that they just chucked in a main event spot to get Derek Lewis a KO. This guy's like, again, nothing going on with this guy's fighting style. The program is just like, be fat. Go out there and just like throw some jabs, rub your tits against them against the cage, maybe get a little takedown, repeat. Like, just got nothing going on. Rodrigo Nascimento, a full-on ranked fighter, and he's just a bot. Let's move on. Next up on the tier list, we got William Gomis, typical French, random fucking, like, there's a few French people that are actually good fighters that have some aura that aren't NPCs, like Garn, BSD, you know, Mavov, bit of an NPC, like Morgan Charrier's got some fucking flair to him, but apart from that, like, he's your typical fucking rangy little point fighter, got nothing going on, boring guy. William Gomis, that's who he is. Just a bot, just an NPC. Like, he actually is an NPC. Let's move. I'm just saying, like, there's not a lot of difference in this video. Like, I don't want to talk for like a minute about each fucking fighter because I got 30 fucking people here. So I don't want to make this video go into a fucking documentary. So I'm just speeding through a lot of them because they're like, yep, fat, fuck, nothing going on. Like, I got the same thing to say for pretty much all of them. So yeah, these guys are all fucking NPCs. What do you want me to say? That's the thing. They got nothing interesting to talk about. So I just have to say how they're not interesting. Anyway, let's move on. Next up on the tier list, Mateusz Nicolau again, a full-on top 10 ranked fighter, and you look like a bot. You fight like a bot. I mean, you hit that little fucking sword samurai celebration once. I guess you gained yourself 10 aura with that one, but apart from that, dude's getting chinned at flyweight. That's tough. Bit of a bot, Mateusz Nicolau. I mean, it's not like a completely NPC sounding name, but dude fights like an NPC, looks like an NPC. Yeah, Mateusz Nicolau, ladies and gentlemen. An NPC. Let's move on to another fighter. Next up on the tier list, Alex Perez again. I put him slightly lower down because he beat Nicolau, and at least this dude's like, I don't know, he's got something, got some power, I guess. But no, Perez also a very much an NPC. He looks like a victim. He looks just like a fucking one of those, like, not the boss, like the boss fight NPCs. Like, he looks like one of those little fucking henchmen, the little cunts that just walk around with 50 HP and you can just one tap them with an AR or some shit like that. Like, that's who this guy is. He just walks around, little fucking nobody, patrolling the outside of the fucking whatever, like the building or some shit, and he just exists, throwing some fucking hooks. Like, that's what this guy does. Let's move on to another fighter. Next up, Dan Ige. Look, I've heard him talk a bit. He's cracked a couple jokes. He's got some personality. He's got a decent fighting style. He's pretty fun. So I'm not saying he's like that much of an NPC, but like Dan Ige, again, very NPC name, very oralist name. The 50k nickname's good, but like Dan Ige. Dude, again, just looks like just a default settings character. At least his fighting style's cool, though. Fair play. I like Dan Ige, but bit of a bot. Let's move on. Weston Wilson. This guy's not a real human. He got a win the other day, so like the other week or whatever. So fair play to him. He won a fight. Congratulations. But Weston Wilson, NPCR name. Dude's got, what the fuck? This guy fights like an NPC. He's got nothing going on. Like, he's just this rangy fuck. Who is Weston Wilson? Who is this guy? Weston Wilson. He looks like this guy looks like the biggest default settings, level 1 fucking, like, level 1, not even level 1 crook, like, level 1 fucking homeless person or some shit at this rate. Like, Weston Wilson, level 1 crackhead. Yeah, Weston Wilson, NPC, bot, nothing going on. He got a win the other day, though, so fair play, but this guy's just got no interest whatsoever. Look at his face. Look at his face. He looks like a fucking bot. Let's move on. David Dvorak, another, like, alliteration name, you know, double D. Not the double Ds I'm into. But David Dvorak, just a bot of a fucking person. When's the last time this guy's fought, to be honest? Like, you look on his resume, he's got fuck all wins. He's just lost to fighters that are decent. But yeah, David Dvorak. Who the fuck is David Dvorak? He's ranked number 14 in the world. I swear, he lost to Steve Erceg. That was his last fight. He hasn't fought since. Been over a year. He's just a bot. Look at his face again. Looks like just some angry little fucking henchman. Like, he looks like he's a bot that wants to not be a bot, and he wants to have some shit going on. He's angry that he's a bot. Like, he's angry that he's just the most fucking boring human to ever exist. But he's still that. He can't change it. That's just the settings that he was born with. But let's move on. Next up on the tier list, we got Neil Magny. You know, he's a bit of an NPC. Neil Magny's got that default settings type of build. He's got that default settings type of style as well, you know, just that whole clinch. His whole program is just clinch, 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 clinch. He just does fuck all else, just clinch. Maybe, like, if they give you a chance, they'll chuck up a fucking Dark Stroke or some shit and submit Daniel Rodriguez. But Neil Magny, he's an NPC. I mean, he's kind of been around for that long that maybe he's kind of escaped bot status, but dude's the gatekeeper of all gatekeepers. He is very much NPC-like. Let's move on, though, to another fighter. Next up, we've got Alexander Rakic. Typical European, like, henchman. Not quite, like, boss level, but he's one of those henchmen that's got a little bit more health, a little bit harder to kill. They got a better weapon or some shit. I don't know, Rakic, European, like, level 5 crook or some shit. That's what we're looking at here. I know that technically means he's not an NPC, but, like, that's the vibe this dude's given me. Just typical, like, European, like, he's like the mafia boss helper. Like, he's like one of the random cunts that just stands behind the mafia boss or stands behind the big criminal and just, like hands them a bag or some shit or, like, looks at them menacingly. That's Alexander Rakic. Let's move on to another fighter. Next up on the tier list, we got Jeff Neal. Again, just the name Jeff Neal, bit NPC-like, bit bot-like. Again, I really don't hear this dude talk a whole lot. He's got some personality, to be fair. He's a fun fighter, but again, just Jeff Neal looks very default settings-esque, looks very NPC-like, to be honest. But yeah, that's going to do it, guys. I'm sure there's someone in the comments that's going to be like, how are you going to call fighters bots? You're just a dude recording videos on your phone. I'm like, yeah, fair enough. You're not wrong. But these fighters are NPCs, let's be honest. Let me know in the comments, who do you think is the biggest NPC in the UFC? Like, who's just straight out of fucking GTA, NPC, level 1 fucking bot? Like, who is just the most non-personality, non-functioning individual? Who's just not a real person in the UFC? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, follow my Instagram, Left Lane MMA. Yeah, peace out.